when mic check. Let me hear you.
Mic check.
Put up
Testing.
so you can make sure you can hear yourself.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
You can hear yourself good.
Yeah, I hear
Let
myself.
me hear you, Ambishun.
Mic check 1, 2.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, we're good to go. And we are live. You can catch us on YouTube, Twitch, Rumble, Kick, and Facebook. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll be right back with you, Howlers. Howls over Baaz. I'm Jacob Casas.
This is Ambishun and Black Cup.
And today we have a very special guest. This is going to be our entrepreneurship edition segment. So I'm going to have you introduce yourself, Eric, and tell the audience a little bit about who you are and what you do.
For sure. So my name is Erik Nahmad. I'm a local tech entrepreneur here in Inland Empire. I live in Rancho Cucamonga. And yeah, honestly, just tech enthusiast. Been in business for about 2 years now. And it's a pleasure to be here.
Appreciate you for coming, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
So why don't you give a little bit of info of how we even met?
Yeah, so I believe it was probably like 6 months ago or maybe a little longer. You came to my shop to get your phone fixed. So that was pretty cool. I was able to fix his phone a couple times, fix his phone like probably 3 times.
A couple phones.
Yeah, a couple phones.
Yeah.
So then next thing you know, he's telling me about his podcast and invited me on, and here we are.
Yeah. So I have a lot of work phones and things like that, and I don't want to replace them all the time because you got to replace everything in them, and it's annoying. So I used to go to some place in Redlands, and then I went to him because he's by my bank. So I decided to go to him, and yeah, he kicked ass on it, and I was like, I'm gonna keep going to him. So because when you go to places to fix your phone, like not everything works right after that.
Yeah.
So I haven't had that with him, and I was always wondering about that. Like, so I kind of didn't really want to go to somebody else because the other guy was doing it, but then they kind of got big, and I think that they were giving me cheap stuff after a while.
Yeah, honestly,
and it
everyone
wasn't
in
doing right.
in this industry, man. Everyone's trying to nickel and dime. They're getting the cheapest quality parts. They're charging like insane labor rates and no warranty, so you just keep coming back. You pay for a new screen, and it's wild. It's crazy.
Give us a little bit of information on what phones you fix, what kind of phones, like laptops, whatever you fix. Give a little bit of information on that.
Yeah, so a lot of shops, they only do like iPhones, maybe Samsungs. We work on pretty much everything from like iPhone, Samsungs to LG, Motorola, Huawei, OnePlus, ZTE, TrackPhone, Google Pixels, pretty much everything. Tablets as well.
Could you give me a Nextel chirp? Could you give me one?
What now?
A Nextel chirp.
Oh, I don't know.
You can't be in tech. You can't be in tech and not know that. Damn.
That's so old, man.
Before
I was
my
like
time.
19 years old, I think, when I had that.
I fixed one of those Nokia phones though.
The flips?
No, it was one of those the brick one that's like indestructible. There was a cat phone too. This construction guy, he had one of those like heavy duty cat phones that's like supposed to be indestructible, and somehow he broke it. So. Wow.
Well, tell them about this too, because I mean, you're not just fixing phones; you have accounts, big accounts.
Yeah, we do. After about a year in business, we started reaching out to other businesses, particularly logistics companies, because they tend to give all their drivers, all their truck drivers, they tend to give them like company devices, and they don't care. They just break the phones. They usually just bring it over, and they'll just pay whatever. We just invoice them and they pay. So.
What do you like working more on, accounts or?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
They're
Definitely
so
the
easy,
big clients, man, because you do it with one person, they drop off 10 devices versus 10 different people who have like their emotions and their time frames and everything, their budgets. Oh man, retail is. I mean, you have to sort of be a masochist to get into retail. Honestly, you have to kind of hate yourself to open up like brick and mortar. It's brutal.
So how lucrative has the business been? Like being from when you first started to now?
Man, honestly, I got in a little late. Probably about 7-8 years ago, the business was extremely lucrative. Right now, it's really competitive. I mean, everyone and their mom is trying to fix phones, but I guess what kind of sets us apart is that we actually fix them. We use the highest quality parts in the country. We offer warranties and everything, and honestly, the word of mouth is what keeps most businesses going. It's the #1 form of marketing. So.
Well, the accounts got to be big because I mean, a lot. I don't know if people are doing accounts like you are.
Yeah, me neither. I never met. When I was discussing with a friend at the time, I was like, hey, I'm thinking of this idea. That I'm talking to some local businesses, maybe I don't know, police stations, fire stations, logistics companies, even other repair shops. Pretty much anyone who has a lot of devices. Even this food company, this catering company, they walk around with iPads, so they drop them a lot. But when I suggested the idea, he's like, no, man, it's too risky. Don't do it. It's not going to work. And then I did it.
Everybody says that.
That's what they say. And I pulled it off. And he said, man, I told you it was a great idea. I knew it was going to work. So that's kind of, I've had that experience about 4 times now, because that was my first big idea, was doing the whole like business to business. And then
that's the best way to do it, man.
It's the best way, man. It really, man, it's improved our revenue a lot. And after that, we started offering like microelectronics repairs, which a lot of shops just don't offer. They outsource to. There's actually few people in the country who do it. There's like few people in the country who actually offer microelectronics repairs in house. So once we started learning and blowing up rockets, and I mean now here we are. We're, I think, one of the only 2 in SoCal.
How important do you think it is to do sales for you as an entrepreneur?
Definitely, I would say in any business, sales and marketing is going to be the #1 thing. I mean, unless you're like an insurance-based business where you don't really need to upsell anything and the customers are just kind of given to you, then, if you're in real business, then you got to be a master of sales and marketing.
Because you go out and get the customers. So why don't you break that down a little bit for us? Because I think a lot of people just don't understand the old school style of sales.
Yeah.
And so break that down. You go out to customers. How do you approach them?
Well, I'll tell you this. I started off before I had the shop. I was doing business out of my garage. So whenever there's no work, I'd start knocking doors, man. I'd start going through the neighborhoods, just knocking doors, meeting people. Maybe a week later, they call me for something. Everyone has a phone, a tablet, a laptop. They have brothers, cousins.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like their moms, uncles, dogs, cousins, friend will come with a broken tablet, and you're like, all right, cool. So I was doing a lot of door to door. That's where I started to hone in on the sales skills. And then, what was your original question?
Well, how important? Like, well, how do you you start off the sales? Like, what's your pitch?
With the big clients?
Yeah.
I would, show up with a suit, and honestly, it's just getting in the right room with the right people. Once you're in that room, you just introduce yourself. You start talking. And my big pitch, honestly, it works really well. Is the whole premise is I'm here to save you money, whether we're doing any kind of refurbishing or repairing, whatever it is, or like even if we're buying phones from people for parts, whatever it is. The whole premise, the whole concept is I'm here to put money in your pocket or save you money, and it just works. Like no one says no.
Yeah.
My close rates are like 80, 90%.
But how do you get around those people who doubt that they're actually going to save money? A lot of people tell me, hey, we save you money. And then
that's true.
And you stuck paying more.
Yeah, no, I mean, I get calls every day of different payment processing companies, and they're like, hey, we know you use Square. Let's sell you some Clover or, I don't know, Ingenico. There's all these different payment processors. And I'm like, listen, dude, unless you can provide free equipment and give me a better rate, I'm not going to buy it, But it's a tough one. I mean, there's always going to be objections. It doesn't matter what you're selling. But in a case like this, you really you got to show them the numbers. You got to show them the proof. Some people are more data driven, and some people are more, you just kind of build a personal relationship with them, and they feel more inclined to do business with you. So.
I got, it's a two-part question. One, I don't know if I heard your age. How old are you?
21 years old.
Okay.
You're young, actually.
Yeah, I see you. And then secondly, when you said tech, how deep in the tech are you? Like, are you in the aspect of close to starting to develop apps, or is it just strictly what you fix and take care of?
So that's actually a great question because growing up, I never thought I'd get into like hardware repairs. I was actually, I started software engineering when I was about 12 years old. So my passion has always been for software, programming, engineering. And around 18, it all kind of started when I helped my brother build a desktop. And then my YouTube feed started to be kind of curated for, building and repairing desktops. Next thing you know, I did some work on my laptop, and then, a friend's and a mom's laptop. And next thing you know, like, people are paying me to upgrade their laptops. And then next thing you know, my YouTube feed started to be more curated for iPhone repairs, which is pretty much our bread and butter. It's really lucrative right now. And after, a couple months doing the whole garage thing, and then just kept building my credit and was able to leverage my relationships, my knowledge, and my credit to pretty much secure the lease in right there by Victoria Gardens.
But the fact that you said my credit at 21,
yeah, man.
A lot of 21-year-olds aren't even thinking about making sure their credit is established properly.
No, absolutely. I mean, my new technician is working with me right now. He's 18 years old, and dude, he's a wizard genius, man. He's a beast, and not just at repairs. Like, he's a genuine salesman. And I always tell him, like, dude, get your first credit card. I wish someone would have helped me get my credit card when I was 16, 17, 18.
Bro, you're only 21.
Dude. I'm losing time, man. I'm losing time.
You made it sound like he was like 47 and about to be done with about to retire in 3 years.
Yeah, dude. I mean, got to retire my mom, my family, and then me, and start traveling the world.
Have you traveled at all yet?
Honestly, not past just Mexico, family. And
what's the first place you want to travel?
Oh, man. I mean, I would like to see Florida, probably Cabo, maybe I don't know, Indonesia or something.
Try there first. I'm gonna say Cabo and Cancun are mildly overrated.
Yeah, I think
they're fun, but they're mildly overrated. Go
Indonesia.
Go with the latter part.
On the whole other side of the planet, man.
Oh, it's way better. Once you leave the country, like, you're not going to want to travel in the country anymore.
Man.
Do you have your passport?
No, I need to get it updated.
And you being a business owner now, like I'm telling you, you're gonna need it. That's like a form of like therapy, dude. Because like you got to get out for a while because everything like your business just consumes you. Obviously, you know, you live your business.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. A lot of people don't realize. You know, when you're in business, I mean, when you're working for a company, you clock in, you clock out, you get paid regardless. When you're starting a business, I remember when we started, man, I was working 70, 80-hour weeks. I was making less than when I was working at Jack in the Box. And it was brutal. It's a lot of work. It takes a certain mentality, a delusional confidence is what it is, because everyone around you, your friends and family, surprisingly, everybody will tell you, like, it's not going to work. You know, go to school, get a good degree, get a nice job, you know, the usual stuff. And, of course, that worked maybe a generation or two ago, but
Not now.
it's a different economy now. It's a different
Well,
state of the
it's a
world.
business now. College. I feel like it's just a business. I think back in the day, yeah, like having a degree and all that worked. They don't even check your degrees now.
Absolutely.
You know, I'm going to say something that I probably shouldn't say, but I know people that get degrees made.
Oh, wow.
And nobody looks at it. They get paid for. They get made for like $85. They go to
You got a
they go get a
contact on
job. Yeah, I do. And they get a job doing that. I know someone that works for Google right now.
But
that
I mean,
did that.
but it's what's happening now is not really new. It's just more in the forefront now. I mean, people were getting jobs based on their relationships. It wasn't always about the degree. I mean, it's been that way for a long time. It's probably even worse now. But
Well, some of the industries I've been in, you had to get a degree to move to the next level. Like you had to have a degree.
Enterprise, you're supposed to have a degree if you work at Enterprise now.
Yeah,
So,
so that's the thing too. Like you had to have, and they checked in on that stuff.
Yeah, they actually
But
background check
they
and
don't do
stuff.
any of that because it's hard to get employees now.
Yeah.
So they're just like, oh, this guy can do it. Bring him in now. You know, I mean,
Exactly.
almost. I mean, I know a lot of businesses are just like, hey, if he could do the job, just bring him in.
Damn, a fake degree, lied on your resume. Damn, we winning.
Yeah, you know, the reality from my perspective, you know, I've been on both sides of the coin, and what I've noticed, I mean, before I found Jacob, my new technician, dude, I looked at over close to 500 resumes, like 470 something, like almost 500 resumes, and oh man, it wasn't good. Like these guys they have like 5-page resumes. They're talking about like when they were dog sitting, when they were 10 years old, like random
What
stuff,
the-
dude. Nothing applicable. Everyone wants a job, but no one wants to work. You know, even if they have the skills or they don't, it's like nobody wants to actually just put in the work.
No, it's like you got to meet people that have like entrepreneurship mindset, and that sucks because a lot of times back in the day, people just would want to work, but nobody wants to do that anymore. It's hard to find those people, dude.
Yeah, genuinely, it's people don't think about like from our side, you know, how difficult it is prospecting, hiring, you know, dealing with, for instance, like if I want to pay someone $22 an hour, it costs me almost $25 an hour with all the, you know, workers' comp and my half of the taxes, payroll, state, you know, disability, all these taxes that I have to pay. And then they have to also pay these taxes. They end up only seeing about maybe $19 per hour. So it's like all this money is just going to the government and my roads are still messed up, man. It's absurd. It's crazy.
I remember before COVID, I would have 30 to 40 resumes on deck at all times. If somebody messed up, I can just get rid of them and get a new mechanic. I didn't want to have to deal with any of their crap. Like it's like, do your job, no prima donna stuff, or I'm going to replace you. Now it's like, dude, you put up with a lot with employees now.
Bro, it's like with me having my barber shop. Like, I have 3 barbers and a hairstylist. It's Tuesday. Nobody's been in the shop today. I was there this morning, but it's like, of course, we all have things we have to do. But it's hard to find people who are dedicated to the craft and are really serious about building at their craft. And being a business owner, sometimes it's hard for you to just do what needs to be done because you got other things that need to be done at the same time. So it's hard to fulfill those spots. And I'm like, damn, I had a doctor's appointment today. I had this, I have that.
You're still
We
there.
got the podcast. I still show up. And it's like the rest of the day, I got customers calling my phone. Hey, are you guys open? You guys take walk-ins? It's the mindset of our society right now. If nobody wants to work. Everybody wants the money.
Yeah.
Everybody says
But
they
no
want to
one
be
wants to get-
rich, but there's no blueprint on what they're going to do it. It's like, dude, you're going to be rich. Like, come on, you can't even
blueprint?
show up to work.
They don't even have the mindset to put in
No,
the
they
work and
don't.
dedicate themselves. They say, what is it, 60 days for you to create a new habit? I think that's what it is. 45, 60 days, whatever, it's creating a new habit. They won't even consistently do things for 30 days to make it a routine.
And it's crazy. I'm like, I'm going to say it here right now. You can't, even immigrants don't work the same anymore, dude. Like they don't. They do not work the same anymore. I'm telling you, I had so many working for me and they were killing it. Now it's like they're white now. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know who I'm hiring. It's all the same now. Like,
no, it's crazy, man.
I might as well hire white people, dude, low key.
When all the ice stuff was happening, I remember somewhere here by my house, they're building like something like 400 units apartment complex, and that motherfucker was coming up fast from dirt. They laid the plumbing, electrical. They're building foundation. Next thing you know, the ice thing happens, man. Home Depots are empty. The swap meet's empty. The job site's empty. And for about 2 weeks, it was stagnant. And I take that road to work every day. So one day, I'm driving by, and I see this white guy swinging a hammer. And it threw me off. Like, he looked like he didn't belong there. I was like, something's going on here. And I'm like, all right, trust the process, right? A week goes by, 3 weeks, and it's like nothing has changed.
Yeah.
The house or the whole complex it's the same as it was. And, yeah, I mean, it's starting to progress now, but...
It's getting a little better, but still, like, I think there's a big problem with just, after COVID, Americans just don't want to work anymore.
Yeah.
They just don't want to do it. They want to collect from the government, and that's just the way it is now.
Yep.
So I mean, being a business owner, how hard is it for you to find... You were just kind of explaining that, but I want you to kind of get into it a little more. How hard is it to you to find good help? Like you said, you went through like 400 resumes, and you got what, one out of those 400 resumes?
Yeah, 3 were qualified. One was good, 2 were okay. The one that was good, I called her and she didn't answer. Emailed and everything, reached out, no answer. The other 2, I didn't really bother because they were all right. You know, I don't need all right. I'm looking for the best. I'm looking for someone that's going to meet at least half of my expectations. And really, my expectations aren't high. It's just do the job, you know, be a good salesman, be a good people person, you know. That's,
do you
that's
train?
all it is. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I got into this industry, I had no experience. Right now, I'm training my brother who has no tech background. And Jacob, thankfully, he came from like a history of working on desktops, laptops, and his own car. He does a lot of like repairs on his own car. So he had that technical aptitude and the willingness to learn. And I noticed right off the bat that he was coachable. It actually wasn't even that he applied. It was I fixed his mom's phone, and she said, "Oh, you need to meet my son. You nerds will get along so well." I was like, "Okay."
You're like, is that a compliment?
Yeah, I'm like, that was a backhanded compliment there. But
a tech world blind date, huh?
Yeah, man. And so next thing you know, she comes by with her son, and we're chopping it up for like 2 hours. She's kind of standing off in the side, just like, I want to go home, you know, but we're just hanging out, talking, and I was like, you know, dude, you got a good head on your shoulders. I think one of these days you should swing by. We should talk business, see what we can get going. And yeah, like a couple weeks later, he came by, he dropped off a resume, and it was like nice and laminated. I was like, oh dang, you know, good content on the resume. I was like, this is legit, but it wasn't the resume, it was the person.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like a week prior, there was a guy who came in, basketball shorts, like he was all high, and he had this crumpled up sheet of paper that he just like, you know, on the leg, he just kind of spreads it out, and he walks in. I could tell like that's a crumbled up piece of paper, and he's like, "Hey man, I saw you guys were hiring. You know, I saw that I applied online. I didn't hear anything back, so I just wanted to swing by and drop off my resume." I was like, "Oh, wow, this is crumpled piece of paper, right?" So I was like, yeah, I'll take a look. Yeah, I didn't take a look, man. Well, actually, I did. I FaceTimed my friend, and we were kind of like clowning a little bit, but it's interesting, man. You see all sorts of things, and then these guys have these like unrealistic expectations, like, hey, listen, I want to work 7 hours a week. 7 hours, like, this is absurd. Or they're like, I have to have these days off, and then you know, X amount of like sick days and all this whatever, and it's like,
they're so privileged and they think that you owe them.
Yeah, like,
it's like, dude, you know, that's actually gonna mess me up worse to even hire you, because then you're there for a certain amount of time and you might be fixing something, you can't finish it. Now I got to go fix what you're fixing now.
Yeah.
That's just like a waste of time. It's like I wouldn't even want to deal with you. I might as well do it myself.
Absolutely. You know, my previous technician before Jacob, wow, this guy, he had a very strict 10 to 6 mentality. He'd show up at like 9:30 and park and sit in his car, and at 9:59 he'd open the shop. And let's say a customer walks in at 5:50, ready to spend their money, like, and not even that, they're ready to have their problem fixed and get back to their lives, right? You know, they need their phone fixed. They have their own life and their own schedule. They're inside of a tech repair shop, a phone repair shop, and dude has the audacity to say, "Oh, you know, we close in 10 minutes. I'm not gonna have time to do it. Come back tomorrow." Whereas Jacob, he stays till 6:30, stays till 7, stays until the job is done, till everyone is served.
That's not
And,
common anymore.
It's not. It's
No.
very uncommon,
Even
man.
for my guys that
That
work
guy's
here.
a closer.
Yeah, he's a beast, man. He showed me some stuff. Even today, he did this crazy upsell that I can't even talk about. It was absurd. Like, it would sound bad if I even said it was impressive, though. I'll tell you that. It was
That's a guy
Right.
to have, like, to try to keep around.
oh, absolutely.
There's certain I've been to so many like different like a business. I was in business with this factoring company, and he would invite me to these events, and they all had to make, it was like 2 million and above. I wasn't even making that yet at all, and their business had to pull that in,
You
right?
said yet?
Well, yeah, no, I'm not. What I'm saying
That
is,
means you're making that now.
no, I want to, shit. But like the thing is, he says, "Hey, don't tell nobody, but I'm going to invite you to this event." They would make us sit in a circle, and you would say a problem you have in your business, and another person had to solve that problem.
Oh, wow.
So it was crazy. And the thing is, these guys were all legit. One guy owned like an AC company. There's all these big, huge businesses there, but they're like, you wouldn't think they're making all that money. And this is out in San Diego. And I remember like tripping out on a lot of things they were talking about, and even how to handle your employees. Like, cause I had this one employee here that was a genius when it came to fixing trucks, but he was the biggest pain in the ass I've ever dealt with. He was a prima donna and everything, but he was worth having. And this is during a time where you can still replace anybody. I could replace
But
anybody.
he was just that good.
But he was so good, and they're like, okay, no matter what, you're the business owner. You got to be smarter than him. So you got to treat him differently. It just is what it is. You can't treat him like you treat everybody else. You do got to deal with this differently. That's the way he is. He knows what he's worth. You know what he's worth, and you just deal with that differently.
Yeah.
And I did. I started. At first, I was like, heck no, I'm doing it this way, and everybody needs to be on the same page, same level. Like, this is what it is. But they're like, no, it's like going and doing sales. You're not going to treat you're going to handle things differently with everybody. So I had to learn to do it like that, and I learned a lot from that, man. But I feel like the whole system is so different now. Like you said, you had an applicant, right? Imagine if you had like 4 Jacobs, right, that came up, and then you have a series of questions. I used to have a series of questions I would ask them. And because I had so many different applicants and they were so good, and I would test them on how, if we had a breakdown somewhere, what would be the first thing you would check. So I would have questions to ask them, but that you were able to do that back then because there were so many people wanting to work, and now you can't even do that. You're like, dude, I'll take the first guy that looks good to do the job, like he's decent, right? Man, back then, no, there was like you would go through everybody and figure out who is the best for this job, and you would test their attitude, how they would handle things, like everything. There were so many things that you had to put them through before that, and now it's like the world has changed, man.
It's crazy, man. Like, how can there be a job crisis and a hiring crisis at the same time? You know,
Yeah.
it's ultimately it's the people who are
It
just
is.
unwilling to work. Like so many businesses are growing and are scaling and are in need of good, whatever it is, service reps, technicians, just good employees, a good team.
But our economy is also in a bad place right now too.
Yeah, definitely.
We're trying to recover, but I feel like we're in a silent recession that no one's talking about.
Yeah.
Because I got clients that would come to me every single week for a haircut. Now you see those same clients once a month.
Damn.
You might see them once every month and a half. They're picking and choosing where to spend their money at. A lot of people who are actually working, their jobs aren't secure.
Yeah, no.
Gas up, food is up, everything is up. They're putting extra taxes on your utility bills.
Oh yeah.
It's a little bit of everything. So people are struggling. The economy's messed up.
Yeah, it's gnarly, man. It's it's an interesting time, especially like with all this tariff stuff. I mean, a lot of the stuff I buy is from China.
Bullshit stuff. but
Dude, you
yes.
should have seen like I had what was it, like a $2,300 order for some equipment for this new project I'm working on, and I ended up paying it's like $600 in shipping. I was like, okay, that's absurd, but all right. And then there was customs fees of like $400 or $500, and then the tariffs, and then they charged me the transaction fees, so it's another 3.5%. I was like, dang, dude, I ended up spending somewhere in like the $4,000 range.
Got a tax on the tax on top of the tax.
Yeah, they tax your tax, and then, dang, dude, it's absurd. It's really.
How do you balance that out?
I mean, that's one thing. As far as when you're a business owner, dude, you clean the toilets, you're vacuuming the floor, you do the job, you're handling the customers, you're your own accountant when you're starting off. Like you can't just afford to hire some guy, hire some accountant. Like you're basically doing everything. So I had to get, and naturally I'm really good with numbers and math. So, P&Ls, profits and losses, you have to really monitor your finances. And it's really easy to see like $30,000 come in and say like, oh, I made $30,000 in a month, or 20, 30, 40, 50,000 in a month. But it's like, okay, rent $5,000, payroll $4,000. Okay, I got to spend, let's say $12K on parts, and then taxes, sales tax, income tax, all these tax. Oh man. And dude, it's wild. You got business license, workers' comp, and all sorts of different insurances for the property, for your equipment and everything. It gets heavy. And you still got to pay yourself, man. Like,
yeah.
So you're looking at the numbers, and it's easy to kind of lose track of everything, but you kind of get in the flow once you're seeing how the bills are going.
And you're at a nice
everything.
spot too, so I'm sure it's pricey where you're at.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I shouldn't even speak on it, but there's recently like when we had a break-in recently, and they hit the neighboring shop for the first time, because they usually just come for my shop because it's like big flashy like cell phone repair and everything. They think we have like unlocked phones or something. And I was talking to the neighbor. I met the owner of that shop, who's never once been there. He just, he has the employees there, where I was like, I'm there every day. But this guy, it was my first time meeting him, and he's telling me about how much he's spending in rent. And I was like, dang, dude, he spends maybe like 45% more than I do. And it's the same square footage. And he's also, it's a franchise business, so he has franchise fees.
Mm-hmm.
He has, man.
A lot of those people that open a franchise, they just have money saved, and they're just like, I don't know what to do with it. Let me open a franchise.
Yeah. Honestly, there is some good ones where, because I have a buddy who just opened a franchise, but they have like a strict requirement for him to be present at one of his locations for at least 40 hours a week, which is like, okay, but then it's like, you can't do anything else. You can't have another business. You can't have, and matter of fact, he sold all of his other businesses because he was one of those spread too thin kind of guys. But I did learn a lot from him. He's a really fearless individual, and that's one of the big things. I mean, when you decide to get into business, it's like, no matter what, you're going to take a risk. If you're working for a job, there's risks involved, with layoffs or injuries. Depends on what field you're in, but there's so many different. No matter what, you're going to take a risk. So
That's
why
how you
not
get to the
just
reward?
Yeah,
Only way.
why not just put it into your hands and
Yep.
And it's also it's really rewarding when you deal with these new challenges and you become really stress tolerant. You have a new mountain to climb every month, every quarter.
I completely understand that,
man. 6 months ago,
I live in
person.
stress.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you eat, sleep, breathe this stuff.
Yep.
Like you're laying in bed, just finally, long day at work, you're laying in bed and you're like, damn, I still have that thing to handle from today and that thing tomorrow with that thing coming up next week. And, oh, man, it gets heavy. But I think, you crumble or you just kind of push through it and it becomes part of your life.
Mm-hmm.
It becomes weird when you don't have,
It's almost like you're missing something.
Yeah, it's
and you don't want to
calm before the storm kind of thing.
And you don't want to get used to that though either. Like, oh man, I kind of miss the stress. Let me bump up my game a little bit to add to it, because I've actually seen that myself do that. I'm like, dude, I'm so used to being stressed out that I'm like, it's kind of boring. So I'm like, maybe I should just jump back in this.
I don't
Boom.
think, I don't think it's to stress you. Like I think it's to organize chaos. I think you function well in chaos. So that's more so what it is for you.
Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense.
Well, I mean, yeah, the reality is, you know, everyone has a certain moment where it's like, okay, I have to do this. You know what I mean? Whether you have a kid before you're ready and you're like, oh, damn, I gotta lock in, you know?
You got any kids yet?
No, I mean, not yet, but one day I'll have probably like six sons.
Keep it that way for a while.
Yeah. Maybe one or two daughters, but yeah, I'm gonna
keep it that way for a while.
Oh yeah, probably till I'm 28 or 30 or something. I'll probably be retired around then.
Do it like 40.
40? Yeah. Yeah, I think my dad, he had his first kid, my eldest brother, when he was 28. So
that's when I had my first kid.
Oh yeah. How long have you been in business?
10 years here.
10 years.
Yeah.
And before this?
I was a manager at another diesel repair shop, and I hated it. I actually hated this industry.
Damn.
But then I did side jobs. My brother is the one that was like, dude, come do a side job with me. I'm making so much when you do this. I go, I don't want to do this when I don't have to. And I actually taught him. He's better than me now though because I don't wrench no more. But I was taught by my ex-father-in-law, and I brought him in, but he was always trying to tell me, let's do side jobs, right? And I'd make thousands on side jobs. Wow. And once I did that, I was like, ding. And I was like, Mike, I told my brother, I was like, dude, we're just making we made like $3,000 right now on top of our check, you know? So I'm like, and he's all, dude, I've been trying to tell you. And I was like, so I started putting us on Craigslist. I started doing a bunch of stuff for us to get work, and I kept getting us work. And he's like, I knew if I told you and I showed you that you're going to do this, I knew you're going to turn it into something. Because then me and my brother always started working, always. Then I got a little shop up the street at North Rialto, and I just kept going. And then I came here like almost 6 months later. And I had to hustle my way into this shop because they weren't letting people, just anybody, have a shop like this.
Right.
You had to be known in the industry. But I maneuvered my way in.
Did something strange for some change?
Nah. I was gonna partner up with somebody. Things got like he was trying to screw me over, but I already knew the landlord after that, and you know, just things started happening because you know people always try to screw you over in business.
Oh yeah.
And I had contracts written out. You know how that goes. And I had contracts written out. Basically, he was completely opposite on the contract I said, and I said, well, now I'm not gonna do it with you. I was already in here. Boom. It's mine now. You know?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's a lot of luck involved. I mean, for me, it's faith. A lot of people have always told me, like, man, you're lucky. I'm like, well, sure, when you're working 8 days a week, you're not gonna miss a lucky day, right? There was a quote. What was it? I think it's luck is when opportunity meets preparation. You're prepared every day. Oh man, I love this sound guy. Give this man a raise. So like, if you're prepared every day and you're putting in the work every day, you'll so happen to just come across a lucky day. That's just kind of how it works. And but ultimately, I think with the lease, me getting a commercial lease at 20 years old, man, that's luck, man, and that's faith and everything.
I don't believe in that. I think that you put yourself in the right position.
Yeah.
So I don't honestly, I never believed in luck, but I really think it's where you place yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're placing yourself around the right people, if you're placing yourself in position, you said you started out doing stuff like this when you were 12 years old. To me, that is not luck. That is work.
Yeah, no, that's true. Which actually that brings me back to, I don't think I fully addressed your original question, which was the scope of what we do. And so, yeah, I mean, I never imagined that I was going to get into hardware, but ultimately building computers with my brothers what kind of led me into hardware repairs and all that. And so pretty much, I mean, we do everything. So like right now, I built the ticketing software for my company because you either use paper invoices, which is archaic and ancient and takes a lot of square footage and is a nightmare for accounting or like data analysis or anything, you know, proving someone purchased something. It's a nightmare. Paper was a nightmare. And it was also really expensive. I was spending about $300 for 1,000 paper invoices. And 1,000 invoices goes pretty quick. And then we switched to this digital system. There's two companies right now in my industry that has like ticketing software for repair shops. And they both charge about $200 a month for the software, which is absurd, honestly. So what I did was I looked at every aspect of the software and determined, okay, what do I need from my software? Because I started in software, so I decided, all right, I'm going to build my most ambitious project to date, which was we call it Repair Bench, because there's this other one, Repair Desk, and then Repair Shopper or something like that. So I made Repair Bench, which is our proprietary ticketing system for iFix, and it's beautiful. It's super functional. It's super lightweight. It's not web-based like the competition. It's like an executable application. And as far as, because I said data analysis earlier, as far as that goes, I mean, I can feed a JSON file with 20,000 invoices straight into ChatGPT and say, analyze the trends. Give me predictive inventory management or something. It'll say, oh, with summertime coming up and all the water damage, the ambient light sensor is a common failure point on the iPhone 12 and 13 series. I think you should stock up on proximity sensors and ambient light sensors. I'm like, okay, that's a good idea. So we stock up, and then summertime rolls around. Everyone's dropping their phones in the water. Right there where the speaker mesh is for the earpiece, that's the easiest point of entry for water. And the first thing that corrodes is usually the ambient light sensor, because there's a 5-volt, the main power rail is right next to a ground line. So when the water touches it, it corrodes and bridges it to ground, basically, which will cause the phone to either shut off and not turn on anymore, or it reboots infinitely. It just reboots, like Apple logo, black screen, Apple logo, black screen.
So why did Apple, I know you don't work for Apple,
right,
but Apple put it out there as if the phones were somewhat not water resistant, but to a degree.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge gimmick. I'm sure it started, I believe, with Samsung on like the S7 series years and years ago. They were pushing for this whole water resistance, like IPX or IP68 rating and stuff. And that became one of their big selling points. I mean, if you look every year at the commercials these guys are doing with the new phone sales, it's like marginal increases to their capability. It's like the same thing copy pasted, and they add one new thing. And it's like, hey, we're Apple, so you guys are gonna pay $1,600 for a brand new phone.
It's a big lie, because you drop water on your phone and you might call your ex. It's just
no, right?
It's just stupid,
dude. They're talking about, you could submerge it in the
ocean.
Was
it water or was it alcohol? What was it?
Oh, I don't do the drunk text and phone calls. I'm good. I'm safe in that lane. I am safe.
Yeah, it's wild stuff, man. Pretty much, they're saying you can submerge it 10 feet for 2 minutes or whatever, and then it's like you spill a little bit of water and it just starts acting up, it starts restarting, it shuts off.
I tried it once with my 14 Pro Max. I got in the water thinking I could record. It switched apps, went to something else. I was like, oh, this is we're not doing this.
It's game over.
That was it.
Should have brought it to iFix, man.
And your store's in what city?
It's here in Rancho Cucamonga, off of Day Creek and Baseline. So like right next to Victoria Gardens. It's right next to Sprouts in a little shopping center. It's called the Winery Estate Plaza.
Are you partnered with Zag as well?
No, I hate Zag.
Really?
Zag, if you're watching this, I got a personal vendetta against you guys.
Really?
You know my buddy.
What's
Yeah.
Zag?
So Zag is like
Screen protectors
the name
and
brand for
accessories.
the screen protectors and cases. They're like probably the country's largest manufacturer and provider for these accessories.
Third-party accessories.
And honestly, and they do have partnerships with like Best Buy, AT&T, Verizon. And it's such a gimmick, dude. Like, glass is glass, first off. Second off is they're selling it for $60, and then after that, it's like every time you break it, it's 12,
10 to 12 bucks,
10 to 15, somewhere around there to get it replaced. Dude, we sell them for $10. It's the same thing, like, and you don't have to pay the 60 up front and then 15 every time after that. And I have a buddy who works at Zag. And he was saying to a customer, because we'd be on FaceTime a lot, and he's like, oh, I'm working on an iPad. I just did a couple protectors. Like, oh, I'm working on a MacBook, a couple phones lined up. We're just hanging out while we're doing our job. And next thing you know, he's talking to a customer, and he's saying, or she's asking him, he's like, why should I choose this $60 protector instead of the swap meet or Amazon protector, the mall, 5 feet? What was the word he said? Something about how it spreads the impact along the glass so that it doesn't damage the screen. I was like,
stop the cap.
I was like, bro. I was like, what is this guy talking about, man? Like, I've never heard And keep in mind, respectfully, he's an extreme alcoholic, so he has trouble sometimes stringing sentences together. But when that commission hits, he said, "Yeah, NASA engineered, man. This thing is graphene infused."
He was waiting on his moment.
Yeah, man. Matter of fact, he said something about the hydroplated electro.
Did you start laughing in the
oleophobic
background?
layer. Yeah, dude. And the funny thing is, because he says crazy stuff, so I always turn the volume down when a customer walks in, or I have my AirPods in. He leaves me on speaker, volume all the way up. So I was like, oh man. I started laughing, like involuntarily laughed out loud. And the customer was like, what's going on here? It was just, oh man. Like, you cannot fool. That's a smart young woman right there.
I should come to you for my glass replacement.
Oh,
so I've
yeah,
been
man.
waiting because it's a 4-way privacy. But I've been waiting for it. They've been sold out.
4 ways, huh?
Yeah. 360
So I've been waiting for them to
degrees.
come in, so they don't have it yet.
Oh, you got 2 phones as well?
Yeah, man.
Nice.
It's his trap phone, the other one.
No, man. I don't do any of that stuff. I'm wholesome.
Yeah,
I don't
there
do
you
hood
go.
rat shit with my friends.
I'm past that.
I've grown past that stage in life.
Yeah, I feel like
So that program that you made,
Yeah.
you could sell that program to other people
yeah.
that have like phone businesses.
yeah. Right
phone
now, I'm
repair
working
businesses.
on building a sales team for that project, but I'm kind of focused on my screen refurbishing project, which is like a whole. Oh man, that's a
Hold
whole.
on,
other
tell us
thing,
about that
but-
one.
Yeah, so basically, you know, if your screen breaks, whether it's just the glass that cracks or like the whole display is shattered, what we do is we take off the screen, we basically throw it in the trash, and we grab a whole new display assemblies. The display, the whole frame of the screen, the glass, and we replace that whole screen assembly. But with this refurbishing idea, because ultimately the display is the expensive part, it's maybe like 150, 200, 250 bucks. The glass is only $10, right? Maybe $5. So what we do is like we run it through this laser machine and this vacuum chamber, takes off the glass, we clean the glue, we put a new glass and we cure it and clamp it, and it's a whole process. And like I'm like $10,000 deep in this project, but we already have our first client that's like it should yield about 13 grand net in about 40 hours of labor. So that's awesome. So we're kind of
Wow.
I'm branching out. I'm honestly pulling away from repairs just because I'm getting tired of like retail and the whole customer
So
service.
what
thing.
is this for though? What is the glass repairing? Like,
Just the screen
For the
Yeah,
phones?
the screen of the phone basically. So because the display and the glass come fused.
uh-huh.
So even if just the glass cracks, you still have to pay the full price for the whole thing to be replaced.
Yeah.
But with this idea, you know, we can essentially replace the glass only. But the
So
idea
you're a
is,
thinker. You're thinking
Oh,
of different
yeah.
ways to fix things. And repair
absolutely,
things.
and there's few people in the country right now who offer this service. Pretty much, I think only 2 people in the country, and they're both wholesalers. So they're refurbishing screens, and then they're selling them. And that's kind of my idea because honestly, like from very modest projections, it can yield honestly like double the revenue of what we're doing right now in the repair industry. So we're branching off into this whole refurbishing thing. And once I kind of got this automated, once my brother's trained up and we're building the team, once that's sort of automated, I can pull away and start selling the software hopefully Q1 or Q2 of 2026. Because there's 70,000 repair shops in the country. Every one of them needs to invoice their customers. You know, they have policies, they have, you know, the ticketing and everything. And
Well, the big sale is you explaining to them like it's gonna explain to you, hey, summer's coming up, water damage,
yeah.
this and that. That's huge.
the
I mean,
three big selling points is
yeah,
absolutely is the data analysis.
and that's
aspect of
AI.
it.
Using AI for
Yeah,
all that.
absolutely, yeah. It's ChatGPT. You don't even have to pay. You could drop the file in there, and it can give you projections and everything. So that's one big aspect of it. The other is the fact that, you know, I could sell it a lot more affordably than these other companies. They have teams of like 15 people, and they have, you know, office and everything. So the idea, they're selling at like 200 a month. I could sell it for 50 or 100 bucks a month, and you know. So it's like, hey, you're saving money. It's a more affordable product that's absolutely better in every measurable metric, and it's going to help you make more money because the data is going to be just invaluable. And ultimately, it's a no-brainer. You know, and I have 70,000 repair shops. I mean, dude, if I could just close 1,000 at 50 bucks a month, man, that's $50,000 net. No overhead, no expenses. The software's already built. There's no domain I have to pay for. There's no hosting. There's no everything locally stored. So it's not like cloud storage for their invoices. They're locally storing their invoices, and they can choose to back them up if they want. It's better in every sense of the. Yeah, I mean, you know, like with these guys, your Wi-Fi goes down and you can't invoice your customer, or like their hosting service goes down, the website's down, you can't invoice your customer. It's ridiculous. Whereas with this software, you know, locally stored, no Wi-Fi required, executable application, you could just boot it up and just start making invoices.
How long did it take you to make that software?
Oh, man, I must have put like a good 110, 120 hours of blood, sweat, and more blood, and arthritis and tears. Yeah, sitting. I mean, I would do it in bed. I would do it at work. I'm like fixing a phone, and then I'm like programming a little bit, or I have that moment where I'm like, oh man, because I can't even describe, like, programming is interesting.
So you actually code. And
Yeah.
you can
awesome.
sit
You're like
down
the
and
Facebook
really,
guy.
You can really sit down and develop a full-fledged app.
Full-fledged app, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we gonna
I
talk.
don't do any.
Yeah, I want to talk to
mobile-
you about stuff too.
No,
Yeah,
after
I mean,
me.
ton of ideas, right? Like everyone has an idea for an app, honestly. I don't currently do anything mobile or web-based. I can do web-based, but I prefer executable applications on like Windows. So primarily I use a language called C# because it's fast, it's user-friendly, it's a powerful language with a lot of integrations. For instance, you know, I was able to integrate it with this signature pad that I have and like a label printer. So it passes the information of the customer's name and phone number, and it generates a QR code, prints out on the label. You could stick it on their phone. So it's awesome, honestly. I love C#. But I have done a lot of like web stuff with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Python, Flask, Node.js, all sorts of stuff. Different database technologies too, like SQL, Postgre, all sorts of things. But I hate web-based. Honestly, wow, you have to hate yourself if you're doing websites, man. You know, and those guys don't even get paid that well because the market's so saturated with these Fiverr, like $5 an hour Pakistanis and Bangladeshis. Like, you can pay him $6 or like pay him $200. He'll build you a whole full stack website with like 6 pages. And dude, it's crazy. These guys are on a whole different level. So that kind of saturated the market for web development. And then not even just that, a lot of these, you know, we're in a big outsource economy. All these like drop shippers, you know. My example is going to be like people who are like, hey, I'm going to build you a website. I actually have a buddy who does this. He's like, I'm a digital marketer. I help build brands. And he's like, I'm going to help you build a website. And then he pays some guy $200. He charges you $2,000. And then he's like, yeah, it looks good. All right, so here's your website. You know, here's my $2,000. And then he just, it's all outsourced garbage, man. Especially like all that drop shipping stuff. Like, you can't go on Instagram without seeing some guy, everyone and their mom helps build personal brands or you know, sells e-commerce courses, all this stuff.
And to me, I was always like, how are you? I mean, first of all, it's hard building brands, real good brands, right? Absolutely. So it's like, how are you just all of a sudden now you can build brands? Like, that just doesn't seem like real to me at all. Right. I've never was like, okay, these guys can do that, you know.
And their brand is that they build brands.
Yes, exactly.
It's absurd, man. These guys.
All you gotta do is use ChatGPT now. You know what I mean? Build a logo or something. It's just crazy. Yeah.
I've had a ton of ChatGPT generated logos or
me too.
All sorts of stuff. I mean, it's a game changer. Like, it's never been easier. And imagine with the tools we have now, what someone would have done 100 years ago. Back then, man, they used to actually have to do stuff. Like, we don't even have to do anything.
It's easy for us now.
It's so easy, yeah. And it's really just a mentality thing, honestly. You need to have, like I said earlier, that delusion about you, or that ego. But you can't let it go unjustified. You have to seek to justify that absurd ego that you have, and actually accomplish, you know, whatever it is you need to do. And then now you aim higher, and then you just accomplish that, and you just keep aiming higher. And people will call you all sorts of things. You're narcissist, you're egotistical or whatever. And it's like,
conceited.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, but you work at a grocery store. And it's like, you know.
Yeah, dude, like a lot of them are just like, they're sheep. They just want to just go with what the rest of the world wants them to do.
And the unfortunate thing is I try to help a lot of these guys because it's like, dude, I grew up, you know, single mother household, you know, empty fridges. Like, thankfully we always had a roof over our head, and I mean we always had food. My mom would not eat so that we could eat, you know. And man, you know, I've worked different jobs. I've done door to door out in the sun, pouring sweat. Like I've done, you know, laborious jobs, basic, you know, fast food, all this stuff. And the reality is, you know, I know what it's like. You look at like some trust fund billionaire, and it's like, okay, this kid doesn't know reality. But the thing is, I do know reality, and I have tons of peers that I grew up with, and it's like, hey, I want to help you guys, and I've helped a lot of people. I redo their resumes. I give them a bachelor's degree, and I just like change their job experience and their title and everything, make it sound more flashy. Next thing you know, they get the interview. They're like, dude, I applied at 359 places and I didn't get a single interview. They apply at 3 more places with my resume and they get an interview. But then they're not equipped to handle the interview because I can't really
Talk for them.
Yeah, I can't really talk for you, you know, like I can only get you this far. The rest is kind of in your hands. So
What made you think? What made you think that you are the way you are? Is it because you grew up the way you did? Because you're obviously an innovator. Like what you're doing is you're instead of this, I think there's a huge difference, right? There's people that just retain a bunch of knowledge and they
Right.
spit out that knowledge to people like if it's their own, right?
regurgitate this. Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, a lot of the people who go into college and stuff, it's
They're dumbasses, but they just have knowledge based on what they've learned. But
Yeah.
then there's people that retain knowledge and they learn about whatever they're in front of, and they try to figure out ways to make it better or to revolutionize it or build something better from that. And that's what it
yeah.
sounds like you're doing.
Oh, absolutely. You gotta pretty much, you know, knowledge retention is good. It'll get you far, but you need to be adaptable. You need to be able to be thrown in any situation, and it's like, okay, I got dry sticks. I need to make some fire and cook some food. You know, like you have to be able to make stuff happen, and you got to have a certain, I guess, confidence about you to actually get things done. You know, and to lead your own life. You know, a lot of these people go to college because their families or their friends are going to college, and it's like, hey, get a good degree. Okay, what degree do I get? And they study something they're not even really passionate about. I was in college for about a month. I was studying computer science because I wanted to become a software engineer. But I noticed my professors, they're not engineers. They're teaching programming, and they don't even know a thing about programming. They're reading from the book and
Dang.
assigning homework. And I'm like, dude, you've never even built software. Like, you're like 60 years old, and I could run laps around you with my phone programming on like a remote desktop on my. It's absurd. These guys are so incapable. And or for instance, you know, these business majors, you go to school to learn business from a guy who doesn't own a business. Like,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
absurd. You know, you'll learn more starting a business and just failing.
Yeah.
But which actually brings me to another point that I
Yep,
wanted
he's
to
right.
address.
No, I've done it numerous times.
Absolutely. Like it's an important point I want to address is that like I've seen people who've literally started businesses with nothing. Like I met a guy who was selling, repairing, and renting out forklifts. And I was like, okay, that's impressive. That's a very niche industry. I've never even considered that sort of thing. So how'd you get into that business? And he's like, you know, I'm asked him, and like, do you have a warehouse? You have a bunch of forklifts? Like, how'd you even start? And he said, well, you know, obviously I didn't start with a warehouse and forklifts. I didn't just have forklifts laying around. So what I did was I noticed he worked at a warehouse, I think setting up the pallets, and he'd see the forklifters come and, you know, pick up the pallets and move them around and stuff, load the trucks, whatever they're doing. And he noticed there was a lot of downed forklifts. So he's like, okay, let me study repairs. So he bought a broken forklift, fixed it, almost no money down pretty much. Now he has a forklift. Now he has some knowledge and some confidence. He walked into his company and he told them like, hey, listen, let me repair every forklift you have here. And they turned him down. So then he doubled down. He went to other companies and he said, hey, let me repair every forklift. Let me, you know, sell you new forklifts. You can recycle these with me. And he didn't own a single forklift. What he would do is he would draft up this crazy contract and take like a 60% deposit, fulfill the order from a wholesaler, and basically drop shipping. But he wasn't making anything on these first couple orders. Next thing you know, he has clients, returning clients. Hey, we got a broken forklift. That's where he really made his money. And renting, selling them, he maybe marks up like $400 or $500, but he would start renting out forklifts. He got his warehouse to store his forklifts and his tools. He got a van. Now he works with like 60, 70 warehouses across the Inland Empire. And this is all in the span of 2 years. With no money down. He walked in there with a suit. Just with a suit, walked in, met the owner. Hey, let me save you some money. Perfect pitch. Same as my pitch. Who can say no to saving money, right? So he closes them, takes the deposit. And one guy tested him. He's like, well, dude, we already have a guy that we buy forklifts from. Like, why would we buy from you? You're basically Joe Schmo. He said, well, exactly. You see, I'm new to this industry. It's imperative that I make this work not only for me, but for you. You see, to this company you work with, you're just another name in their logbook. They have all these warehouses. They don't care about you. You're going to be one of my first ever clients.
I love that, bitch.
I was like, damn, dude, this guy, he's good.
What do you do outside of? What do you do for fun? I'm curious.
I work. I work for fun, and
Because it seems like your mind is constantly
yeah,
there.
man.
And he's only 21.
Yeah.
And
I
I was in Rosarito at 21.
Do you play chess? Do you do any of that?
I love chess. I haven't played in a while.
Are you good at it though?
No.
I like how he's honest.
No, you know, I've played some real beasts, man, but they're like 60 years old. I mean, if I was 40, give me 20 years, I'd smoke them. But
Hey, John, could you put up the chat? I'm gonna have him read the chat. You got people loving you right now on this chat.
oh yeah, wow.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have him read the chat.
I got it right here.
Oh, you have it? Okay.
Pool. I love playing pool.
Ah.
Yeah.
All right. So
That,
you
I
better
would
at pool or
say-
you better at chess?
Well, there's a large skill gap, man. You got the chess grandmasters. You got the old heads at pool with the glove and their own stick. It's like, I don't know. It's hard to quantify this
So
sort
do you
of
have
thing. But
your own pool stick and your glove and your chalk, or do you have your
Well-
own chessboard?
I actually do have my own chessboard, but I have a glove for pool. I don't have my own stick or my own chalk. I just, I show up to a bar and just grab a stick. I'm like, yeah, this is the one. And then I'd smoke whoever. Well, actually, no, I get smoked by the old heads, man. But that's how you get good. You play with the old heads, and they're super chill. They're
You got to
like,
be around people better than you. You have to.
and that's one of my points that I wanted to address earlier as well, is that, getting into business, it's hard to quantify and say, hey, this guy's better than me. There's metrics. You can say, hey, he makes more money. He's wiser. He's more. Everyone has their pros and cons, right? But what I notice is, like, there is nothing I can look up to in any of my peers, even people older than me, 30, 40, 50 years old. So I started this sort of mission of, like, trying to find people who I can look up to, which I'm still sort of looking for, like, mentors and stuff. But here and there, I've learned a lot from just prospecting with different business owners, like the forklift guy that I met, Jacob over here. And you learn a lot, man. And it's one of those things where it's a shared mentality. Me and my brother were talking about this yesterday because he's ex-military. Both my brothers are. And he says it's difficult reacclimating to the civilian world because nobody understands, He has to talk to a veteran they just get each other, And that's sort of how I feel. I mean, me and him, we totally understand each other, but there's things about his mentality I just can't come to understand. I don't know if we just don't have the language to, like, communicate this stuff, but we're super close. I mean, I love my brothers, but there's just a huge disconnect as far as their military life and then my business.
Entrepreneur. It's good to be around other entrepreneurs because
Absolutely.
you just can't relate. When I first became an entrepreneur, I could not relate with other people.
Yeah.
It was almost like whoom all the time.
Jacob,
I
you
couldn't
don't
even
relate to
stand it
people
no more.
anyways.
Yeah. You know what? In reality, that's just the way I think that's just the way it is. You know what I mean? So I just kind of do my thing.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
know, I feel like if I give them too much, they're gonna be like, "What's up with this guy's mind?" You know what I mean?
It is.
Yeah.
But hold on, let's read the chat before we go
All
any
right.
further.
Let's go to this chat. St. John's Gaming, let's get it. Fire emoji. Eric Blunt.
Brr. Oh, Eric Blunt. He's
Eric Burnt. I don't know what you
Eric
call this,
Burnt.
but
Yeah,
this is what it is.
he's basically saying, "What's up, guys?"
Metal.
Yeah, he's always on our chat. I appreciate you for watching, Eric. Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Welcome back, sir.
Yep.
Then we
It's
got
easier to upgrade your phone than fix it. That's a good point. My biggest competition is the insurance companies and the service providers because they upgrade your phone. Like, they basically pay you. They're like, here, we'll pay you.
they
you
make
know.
you think you're getting paid by them.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, you're locked in for 36 months,
Yeah.
$100 a month.
Exactly.
But
Yeah,
they
go-
they get on their hands and knees for you to buy a new phone.
Go
Let's
to the
see.
next one. You said
Drive.
Jennifer.
What do you mean by that?
Jen. Thomas, what's up? Jennifer, how
Jen
you
Thompson, 100% wine. Black Cup TV, young and ambitious. Jennifer Thompson, impressive. Jennifer also asks, does he play chess?
Oh yeah.
doing? Oh yeah. Oh, that was your question, huh?
Been a while, man. I want to get behind the chessboard again.
I'll
'Cause-
play you.
Eric,
Yeah, let's run it, man. One of these days.
Do it.
you got Eric Burton again up there.
Yeah, Eric Burnt, you said, I feel like today, that's the company we was reading.
Yeah.
It's almost easier to upgrade your phone than to fix it.
Okay.
And then Jen said,
Oh, veteran. Thank you for your service.
okay. And then Jen said, not just phone, but washer, dryer, fridge.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've worked on one washing machine, no dryers, no fridges, but I've worked on matter of fact, I had a client recently, a mechanic shop. They had like 6 of these ECU programmers. I'm not a car guy. I don't know what that is, but
It's the brain of the engine.
gotcha. Yeah, that's what I thought it was. No, but they basically they all had broken ports. Like they're like micro USB ports. They plug in and then they'll break them off. And it has a battery, but then when it dies, you can't charge it anymore. So they brought it to me, and funny story, honestly. Hopefully he's not watching, but this guy walks in. When this first started, before I started going to mechanic shops and looking for these clients, the first guy who came to me said, hey, can you fix this? I don't even know what the hell I'm looking at, but I could probably fix it. And he said, so listen, it's a $2,000 car ECU programmer. I was like, $2,000, huh? Yeah, probably like, $400. And normally I charge like $100 or something like that. But he's like, all right, bet, let's do it.
Well, you'll you can get them fixed at like the place for like $450.
Oh, okay.
So $350, $450, sometimes like $500-$600. Just so you know, next time someone comes.
Keep that in
you
mind,
can charge
yeah.
them that, yeah.
Because we started working on a lot of these like mechanic tools, all this different equipment. We've worked on random stuff, man. I helped this guy mod his Mazda Miata that he races. He had like his whole gauge cluster. He took it out. He brought it to me, and he brought this like display that he wanted to replace his the oil pressure gauge. We replaced it with this digital display that shows like the oil pressure, oil temperature, and the coolant temperature.
You're on a different level, player. I'm telling you. If you're fixing ECMs, ECUs.
Yeah, dude, it's wild. And the same thing, I'm looking at this thing like I've never seen one of these. I've never touched one of these things. I've never fixed one of these things.
We don't even know. I don't know how to program an ECM or ECU. We send it out.
Damn.
And
yeah.
they charge us like $450, and we charge the customer like $600-$700, depending on what it is.
Yeah, that's what most of these shops do, and with their micro soldering jobs.
I'll send them to you, see if you can start doing
right.
it. No, but the thing is, though, if they mess up, it's a wrap because it's electrical.
Oh, okay.
So for when it comes to, he's taking a big chance on you.
Yeah.
Big chance by you even touching.
Dang, yeah, no, seriously.
Yeah.
It's impressive, honestly, that some of the things we worked on. It's just impressive that people have trusted me with so much, honestly, because a lot of the times I only got here by doing it for the first time 1,000 times. It's like I've never seen this phone. I've never worked on this tool or this. I'm trying to think of other random stuff like a stove or something or a TV. iMacs. I hate working on iMacs. Those massive Mac desktops. But,
yeah. Go finish the chat though.
Oh, yeah, it's just what's left is Jen said, I knew it in regards to the chess. Jen said, wow, so wise. Yep, 100%. Jen said, veteran here. And then Jen has a question. She says, what drives you to keeps you motivated as an entrepreneur and business owner?
That's a good question.
Yeah, that's I have a multifaceted answer to that question. I think there's a lot of things. One is ultimately the freedom that it provides just working for yourself.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is kind of weird. You're like waiting for someone to tell you what to do, but ultimately like everyone knows what they need to do. You know how to make yourself a better, a smarter, a stronger person today. No one wants to do it though. You pay for a fitness coach so that you feel financially obligated to hold up your end of the bargain, and they tell you what you already know. Eat this food, more protein, muscle hypertrophy, workout, reps or set, whatever it is, higher weight or, lower weight, higher reps. It's super simple stuff. Everyone knows what they need to do, but they don't want to take the action. And so I think that's the biggest wall when it comes to like running your own business is there's so much that you can do and that like you need to do or you want to do, and no one's gonna tell you to do it. Like you just have to get up and just do it.
Yeah.
So
Be disciplined.
exactly, that's what it comes down to.
It is good to try to find someone that you can that can hold you accountable.
Right.
Even if it's
exactly.
like a lot of different people for different situations or a different thing, because it does help. When I wasn't being held accountable by things, I was just doing a lot of things, like things I shouldn't have been doing that I could have done better. So it is good to try to be held accountable by somebody if you can, even business mentors or other business people that
Definitely.
you respect and things like that, But yeah, this is last words. So any last words you want to tell the audience? Any motivational words? Any?
It's been an hour already.
Yeah, it's been over actually, but you're good. You're good.
All right, let's see.
So anything you want to
Last
say for last
words, huh?
words?
Man, I got too many words. Let me think here. I'd say, especially if you're young, man, you got to get your credit up. Get your credit up. Number one thing, super simple. Like, just close every month with a low utilization. Just get a credit card and use it like a debit card. Super simple stuff. Assets over liabilities, basic stuff. You don't need to finance that $40,000 car. Like, you can roll around with your little Hondita, your little Civic, $5,000, salvage title, and like for me, I was driving a Honda even after I had opened my shop, and then I had bought my my Tesla.
Yeah.
And I want to get a Corvette next year, but anyway, yeah, I think it's important that you just manage your finances, but also have a direction. Because some people that save money, they're gonna save all their life until they die. You have to have some sort of direction. Not everyone's driven by money. Not everyone wants to achieve whatever it is, but everyone has their own desires. So I think it's important that you find what it is that you want. Make sure you're whatever you have faith in. Just stay true to yourself and just get it done. Get the work done.
Give him the buzz. Give him the buzz on that one.
Yeah, where's my sound guy? Come on. Yeah, there he is.
Cool. And how was your experience on the pod?
It was awesome, man. It was an absolute pleasure. Maybe love to be here again. That'd be cool.
Yeah, it was
Honestly,
good, man.
That was a really
I'ma
quick
say yeah.
hour, man.
Yeah. It was a good one. You kicked ass, dude.
Appreciate
You
you,
did
man.
great, man.
Good shit.
And appreciate you as well.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
So everybody, thanks for watching. We'll be back at 7 p.m. And Howls,
Controversy.
yeah, controversial one about Charlie Kirk.
Mr. Kirk.
So please like and subscribe. Do not forget to like and subscribe. And Howls over Baaz. I'm Jacob Casas.
This is Ambishun, the Black Cup.
Erik Nahmad.
We appreciate you guys for watching. Peace. We're out. Peace.